want to say our favorite New York Jets fan, our New York Jets, well, we'll call him a Slappy. I'm trying to avoid the name calling. This is a Jet Slappy. Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg had some comments about the Detroit Lions this week, and I have a quote to read for you guys. I don't know if you heard this, saw the clip. It was blowing up this weekend. Mike Greenberg, I believe it was on Get Up on ESPN. He says, let me get this quote, I think they, as in the Lions, missed their window. Their shot to win a championship was last year. Green Bay is now better than them. Let me repeat that. I think that the Lions missed their window. Their shot to win a championship was last year. Green Bay is now better than them. Are you kidding me? What is this?
Bro.
Let me start. I have no problem. I have no problem with someone saying another team is better than the Lions. The Packers are better. I disagree, but I'm okay if that's how you feel. That's your opinion. That's fine. You must be assuming that Jordan Love is continuing to develop, or wherever your thought process came into it. That's fine. Maybe you think the Packers are better. Again, I disagree. But to say that the Lions' window is closing, to say that it's closed.
No. He said it's closed.
Missed their window, so it's closed.
He said it's closed.
I would argue it's barely cracked open. It's just getting started. You think this is about Jordan Love developing? Do you think Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aiden Hutchinson, do you think they're just sitting around this offseason not getting better? That's what those three have shown you? Let's not forget Jared Goff and J-Mo. They're going to be working together all offseason. They're not going to get better. like this team is made of this team is built in the last 2 to 3 drafts. Like there are Amon-Ra St. Brown, the only reason he's about to get an extension is because Brad Holmes got him as a 4th-round pick, so his contract is coming up sooner. But to say that this window is closed and not just beginning, Cordell, he's a bum. That's a bum comment. What, Kool-Aid? Calm me down a little bit. When we're in a public place, control yourself.
I'm looking around right now like, okay, I gotta hold this. I gotta hold this energy. Bro, you know what? I hope that this is music to the Detroit versus everybody ears of Amik Robertson. I'm hoping Carlton Davis, Davenport, man, DJ Reader. I'm hoping that these guys are hearing exactly what this national media continues to do to the Detroit Lions, because they wanted to discount them early in last season. They wanted to say, you know what, this team, hey, cute stuff going on here, but they're never going to get anywhere with a Jared Goff. They're never going to get anywhere with these types of players. And then all of a sudden, as the season continued to go on, people still tried to pick against them, and they continued to shut their mouths. Then people all of a sudden want to say, you know, hey, go Detroit Lions. But they could not wait, man. They could not wait just to get through this part of the free agency and say stuff like this. The Detroit Lions window is closed. And I'm going to be fair. There's some national people out there who still believe the Detroit Lions are going to have a fabulous season next year and actually pose a big, big risk to the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl hopes next year. But to have somebody like Greeny, somebody who's been around for as long as he has, somebody who's seen a lot of different sports, you would believe that his perspective would be one that's less clickbait and would actually, especially with the NFL, be somebody that wants to be more about covering this game and calling it the right way. His statements to me, I'm telling you, man,
it's wild.
Why are we if we were in the studio right now.
I know a lot of people don't. They aren't a fan of Greeny's. I actually don't mind Greeny. I've accepted he's not the type of media personality that's going to give you his opinion all the time. It's more present the media, and he's a professional guy. I like his approach. But why is this the time you're starting to have an opinion? Like, when you say a window is closed, there's some thought and some analysis that come along with a comment like that. And it proves to me that you don't know what you're talking about.
Not at all.
Even if you break down the free agent acquisitions, what'd they do? They got rid of we'll call him the second best offensive player, Aaron Jones, arguably the best running back in the league for the last 7-8 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Got rid of him. Got rid of their tackle, David Bakhtiari, who hasn't played a ton the last few years, but he is by far their best offensive lineman. John Runyon's no longer there. They added Aaron Jones, running back Aaron Jones. Pretty good running back. Won the rushing record 2 years ago. You haven't added anything to your offensive line.
Right.
The Lions have answered with DJ Reader, the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the league.
To add to one of the best run-stopping teams in the league.
The number two run-stopping team, I believe. Yeah. So where in all of this are you seeing that the Packers have taken the jump over the Lions, or that the Lions have missed their window.
Some of these national guys have been
what are we doing?
They've been so wrong on the Detroit Lions that they can't wait to try and take the shovel and try and bury them. And that's why I absolutely love what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are doing right now. They didn't rest on their laurels. They went out there and they shored up a lot of this defense, and they still got the opportunity if they want to sign a couple more guys or go into this draft and sign some difference makers or draft some difference makers, which I do believe they will on the defensive side. I absolutely know that's going to happen. I don't understand just when you're talking about the breakdown of it all. Here on this show, ourselves, we've all stated the Green Bay Packers, they probably pose the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions going back-to-back in this NFC North division. We're not going to sit here. We'll have some fun. We'll definitely have some laughs, but when it comes down to absolutely telling you guys what we think of the Packers, I do believe that they're a good team.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs last year. They housed the Cowboys. We saw Lions fans doing something we thought they would never do, cheering for Packers in the playoffs, man, to smash the Cowboys. But when you come down to this and you got to break down the game and you got a team that not only did their thing in the NFC North and people say, oh, that was just in that weak NFC, and then they go to the playoffs and they beat some teams from another division, then all of a sudden, what are you going to do? And it's like you want to take this from them right now. This is what I love about Dan Campbell's mentality. And when you hear the players that they've signed, they still show up and they say, you know what, we wanted to play for Dan Campbell. They said, ask the other players around the league. They want to play for guys like Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. You talk about some of these guys that were signing and some of their contract years and things of that nature. I don't think that we're going to have any issue out of making sure that all of these guys are hitting that field ready to absolutely disprove everybody. And not just that. I think that this Detroit Lions team is beyond trying to disprove people like the Greenies of the world.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care anymore. Will it be bulletin board material? Yes, but I think in the past they did want to disprove people. I still remember Mike Fury running into the camera when they were 6-1 talking about, we're going to the playoffs, F you media. I still remember that. But this Detroit Lions team is about what they know they can control. Like even Dan Campbell said, hey, it's going to be tough to get back, but we're going to get there. We are going to get there. We know it's tough to do back-to-back, but our only goal is to get right back. This is where this football team is. They will hear the noise, but they don't care about the noise. They care about making sure they continue to go out there, represent Detroit the right way, represent the work that they've put in, represent the faith that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Sheila and Co. are putting in them and their teammates as well. And that's what we heard. All these players that they're signing, from Davenport to Reeder to Robertson to Davis, these guys are all stepping in here saying, no, I was looking at this team from afar last year.
Yeah.
When we played them, I knew that they're some dogs. That's what matters most to me, is that people who are their direct competitors, people who they played against in the playoffs, people who they played against in the regular season, who needed those wins against the Lions, those guys are saying, you know what, this Detroit Lions team is for real. And that should be the biggest vote of confidence, way more than anything that a Greenberg says, because this is not going to be the last of it. You know, as they get closer and closer to the season, you're going to see, I believe, the Green Bay Packers become the media darlings, and everyone's going to start to pick them. I really do believe that that's going to be the trend, and that's why I love the crew that we have right now, because they're able to block out the noise. When we saw them go and they took out Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, do you understand how much national noise they had to block out? Do you understand how much national
they won
noise
all
they
their
have to say,
primetime
you know
games
what?
last year.
We're not going to care. But even with the narratives, that was kind of the pinnacle game, because they did. They won all their primetime games, and then you got the pinnacle game of Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit. They didn't let that sway them or bother them. They knew why they were there. This team will build upon that. Like I said, they don't care two bits what Mike Greenberg is saying, man.
No. I'm not saying they do. I'm saying I do.